Dad.
It's live.
It's the other way.
Oh, you should press that button then, don't you?
Cheers.
Right, so today we're going to look at some basic shoe modification. You know, simple things you can do to a bog standard shoe, obviously to make it, or to be able to utilise it more, to be more functional for the foot you're trying to fit it to. Shoe modification tends to be, used to get it a lot, basically because people have got the wrong size shoe, or the shoe didn't quite fit, so it'd stretch a little bit here and there to get the shoe on. However, in today's kind of economic world we're shoeing in, especially with the amount of work we do against ground reaction forces, obviously modifications of shoes, and specifically to get shoes to be sympathetic to the horse conformation, really, really important stuff. Right. So shoe modifications. This will also include roll toes, set toes, spread heels, how to make an ordinary shoe into a more of a lateral heel extension. Quite simple things, but also little simple things so many people get wrong. So what I'm going to do, I've got a 3/4 footed hind, obviously a handmade shoe here. What I'm going to do with this, I'm going to convert it into a lateral heel extension, and I will show you how to do that. And then we'll put a set toe on it as well, and we'll go through the process of that. So first of all, let's just talk about when we do a lateral heel extension. Now, one of my pet hates, and I see it all the time on social media, is a common way of converting a shoe into a lateral extension is by dropping a fuller and widening the branch. Come close, Byron. What you often see is if we've got a shoe like that, you see some people place an extra run of fuller in on the outside there to try and widen the material. The downside to that is any horse requiring that kind of extension on the heel is probably because it's landing heel first, okay? And you'll find they do wear this leading outside border away quite a lot. Now, if you've put a groove in there, you've therefore thinned the leading edge, and that will end up wearing out a lot quicker and will force the horse to land over on it even more, because you know that's quite a severe wear point. When you do these, you need to put the fuller in on the inside, towards the inside border. That will spread the heel more for a start, and let's face it, you want this to fit where the foot should be. That's got to support where the foot is, so it makes more sense to fit it there. And it just shows a little bit of that you're thinking about what you're doing. Okay, so simply, we've got a normal shoe there. I'm just going to convert this into a lateral heel extension. One of the best tools you can have in the back of your van, whether you're a shoemaker out of it or not, is a decent fuller. Okay? You can use it for spreading heels just by extending. So we've got a normal machine-made shoe like this one here. Even if we want to get a bit more width or length, we can manipulate the shoe with our fuller by either fullering further back and putting a stop end in it. That will give us some more width, and it'll also give us some more length, or dropping a secondary bit of fullering in. Or even if we want to make like an onion heel shoe, we can drop it in that corner and spread that heel corner. Also, fullering around the toe, we can widen the toe and get more of a wide toe. Okay, so we can really manipulate the machine-made shoe. Some machine-made shoes lend themselves to this more than others because they've got the material required to make these modifications. So all I'm going to do now is get the fuller. Okay, trying to keep it parallel to my original fullering and drop my stop end in there. You don't want to come too far. So by blending my fullering like that, and then giving a good hammer boxing. So rather than linish the material away, force it down and flat. So straight away, we've got quite a canny, extra bit of thickness. You know, I'll probably stretch that to at least an extra 1/8, if not 1/4 of an inch. Okay, in fact, let's just stick a ruler on it. So it was originally 1 inch. Got just over 1 inch now. Okay, so we've definitely got a thickening of the branch there. Right, moving on to a set toe. Obviously a set toe, we tend to put those on a horse's hind foot when due to pathology or old age or whatever, or even the fact that the rider's about 10 stone too heavy for that horse. So the horse is basically when it's in the cranial phase of the stride, it's just dragging that toe on the ground. So it's not lifting the foot up to get a high enough flight arc. People may ask you what angle should be set at. The real answer to that is when you remove the shoe, you assess the shoe wear, you assess the wear of the foot, where it's been dragging. That is the angle you need to set it to. Okay? By the time you trim the foot down, when you go to fit the shoe with the set toe, you may have to rasp away a bit at the front to get it, the shoe to sit into. Okay? That's all part of the fitting process. So as you make it, it's quite simple. You can fit set toes with or without a clip. So you can do it without a clip or you can do it with quarter clips like on this shoe. I personally find it easier to fit these with quarter clips. You see some people and they'll just go, they'll make a specimen shoe and they'll put a set toe in it and they won't clip it. The trouble is, again, hang on a minute. Okay, but there's not really enough shoe there with the actual set toe to stop the shoe from pivoting round. Okay, so I always tend to fit them with normal hind quarter clips. Now, simply, the easiest way to do this is get all your shoe made. Get it clipped, get it level, get it flat, get your nail holes done, everything. Okay, check your nail holes. And then once you've got it to the shape you require, simply, what we're going to do, we're going to get the toe part hot. Okay, we don't need to work the edge down or anything, and what we simply do is find a nice square edge on the anvil. I usually push it in to the clips and touching the anvil, then just tap it back to the edge of the fullering, drop my hand to the required anvil, and I hit that side of it, I hit the medial side of it, and then I just draw that line through the centre. It's very simple. We'll do it now. Note how I hold the tongs through one heel when I grip the other heel. That will stop the shoe from twisting. Once you've got a set toe on the shoe, especially if you've got clips as well, it's very difficult to level the shoe. So the least distortion you get when you pull it, the easier it's going to be for yourself. So we don't need the rest of the shoe hot, so we control it more. Just pull the shoe down. Okay, so push the clips in, knock it out to the end to the fuller in, drop my hand to the required hit. 1, 2, and then line it up. Okay. And simply hold it over the edge of the handle, there, flatten behind the clips. That will then level the shoe back up. But as you can see there, what we have is a toe set up to the angle that we wanted it. Okay, nice and simple. Okay, nice and simple. Get it back level. Okay, but as you can see, nice bit of angulation. We can do less, we can do more, it depends on the wear pattern. But the thing is, we're reading the wear pattern on the horse and we're replicating it with our shoe. Okay, so that's the set toe. Remember, the set toe is there to protect the front part of the hoof where it's dragging on the floor. So you don't want to be over thin it. You see some people, they hit it down, and they make it waffle thin. Well, that's only going to last a week before it's gone through. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so got a nice machine-made shoe here. Loads of different ones on the market. I personally find this pattern of mustard shoe, certainly if you shoe a lot of dressage horses, is quite good because there's a lot of material here and there, a lot of flat steel, and you can do quite a lot to it to kind of make things better. So what I'm going to do with this shoe, okay, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a bit more of a heel supporting shoe for a start, so a bit like an onion heel, okay, and then I'm going to do what we call a continental rolled toe on it. More about that in a minute. Okay. First of all, we're going to get the heels hot, okay, and we're going to modify the heels. We're looking, so imagine a very flat-footed horse, a very compressed collapsed heels. So we're going to try and give it a little bit more support around the heel. You know, there's a lot more to shoeing horses than just getting shoes out of the packet and slapping them on horses' feet. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one, so I really want to stretch the corner, is I'm just going to drop the fuller in, put a stop end in, and just put a little bit of fuller in there, like so, and just do the same with the other one. Okay, just get another quick heat on that. Okay, so I'm just going to flip my heels on a little bit. I'm just going to get the edge of my hammer and just going to put the inside border down. Just spread the heels out a little bit, turn to the round side as I blend it in. So I've not squashed the section, still got the section. Get the hammer box off. Hammer box off, great way. Let's get that a little bit more out of section rather than just finishing it off. There you go. You can see how much material I've now got in those heels. So we've got collapsed heels, plenty of support there. Right, now we're going to go and address the toe. We don't use as many rolled toes as we perhaps once did. Normally now, or as it's called in the syllabus, rocker toe. What they used to do back in the day, normally before people started using cyclists, they'd put a rolled toe on. This is to help speed up the horse's breakover, or certainly ease the breakover. What we did was, over the bick of the angle, we rolled the outside edge of the toe up. And again, as we rust the foot, we'd rust the foot around the dorsal border, so that roll fitted into the hoof. Okay. Now you could use that with a toe clip, you could use it unclipped. Again, with no clip, there's stability into it. So, what they used to do on the continent, however, was they'd put a toe clip on it, as most machine-made shoes have got, like this one here, and there is a method you can use to roll the toe without distorting the clip, and I'll show you that now. As you can see on the shoe, just look through the shoe volume, but I've left the clip, a nice strong clip, and I've left it upright, okay? So what I'm going to do now is show you how to roll the outside border of that without distorting the clip. You must leave the clip, however, upright, okay? Just get the toe border hot. So you get good heat on the toe. And again, cool it out. Show them the whole shoe off. Okay, and then simply we get the tongs through the heels again, and then we start to seat out this back edge of the shoe whilst lifting our hand. As you can see, the toe starts to roll up. And then by simply getting the back edge in line with the anvil, okay, and then just make sure the clip's flat. We don't need to set the clip on because the angle of the shoe is now set the clip on for us. But in a nutshell, it's what we used to call a continental rolled toe. I think the Swiss, some of the Dutch were very good at it. As you can see now, as you look down through it, we've got a definite roll, which, we put the camera there, mate, which is going to help the foot break over, okay? So, that's the continental roll toe and expanding the heels. Not rocket science. Okay. Right, moving on. That's the continental roll toe. And then we've got the traditional English roll toe. Now, the definition of this has changed over the years, and there's two types. If you look at the Washington Company syllabus, we've got the rocker toe and we've got a roll toe. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the roll toe. This is what's described as a roll toe these days. We've got an old concave army shoe here, funny enough. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the toe. This can be done with a linisher, this can be done with a hammer, this can be done with a rasp. So what we're doing is, on obviously a flat level shoe, we are making the outside border more conform to we're artificially wearing it to conform with the foot and the break over the foot. So obviously with a concave shoe, it's kind of like rolling the concave of the toe like we do on a hind foot for safety, we're just doing that to the front. Now you can do it by pulling the clip and closing up either side of it to give a bit of a rolling motion. Okay, or we can just put it straight onto an unzipped shoe. Or if we're hand making our shoes, we can build it into the process. So all we're going to do there is at the centre, push it over the most, and then just blend it out. Obviously, careful not to close it up around the nail hole because you want to use the nail hole. Okay, just pushing it down flat a bit, pushing that border across so we've got a nice roll. Let me just get it up there. Right, so we've got a nice, we've pulled the brake over back, okay, giving it a nice natural roll. So that is what's defined now in the syllabus as a rolled toe. Then we've got the rocker toe, and it's a bit more like the traditional one I said, where we've got, obviously this shoe there is flat. Now, if we were to roll it up over the beak, that will give us the actual natural roll to it. Again, it is simple. Make your shoes level, get the toe hot. Roll with this. Okay, this is a strange thing. A forklift, carrying a forklift. There's something you don't see every day. Right, moving on. Okay, so the rolled toe. Again, we're going to grab the shoe like we did the other time. Again, give it a bit of a cool out. Try and avoid distortion. Okay. And then we're going to place our tongs through the shoe like we did earlier. But this time, we're going to hold it over the beak. And we're going to start going round the stick of the handle. So we're going to forge it a little bit because we want it to roll. There you can see there, got a nice natural roll to it now. So we go over, we burn the toe into the flat foot, we push down our rasp, and where we have the char mark, we just take that edge away with the edge of our rasp, okay, roll it around so we get a nice airtight fit. And that's what we're looking for, no gaps under the shoe. Very often you get people who didn't do that, they tried to nail it in, you end up with a big gap under the toe. It's that simple, okay? As long as you hold it right, cool it right, and forge it, you won't end up twisting it. Just make sure when you finish, it's then the finished product is level. Me personally, it's always, if I'm using techniques like this, it's always the last thing I do. So then, so if you come with me now, So moving on to modern times, obviously what we have on the market now as far as shoes and other bits and bobs we can buy, you know, we've got a lot of stuff now which we don't need to prefab or buy. We can just buy the bits and weld them in. Obviously the shoes nowadays, so this is a Workman Warrior Special. As you can see, it's already got thicker heels than the rest of the section. It's already got its rolled toe. Okay, it's all there, ready to go out the packet. And again, there's lots of different shoes, but the key thing, and this, you know, this isn't part of the syllabus, but it's just worth you knowing, especially if you've done your welding part of the course already, MVQ, where you did prefabs on old shoes and stuff like that. You know, the fact of the matter is, that's how we used to do it, whereas nowadays, we've got all kinds of weird and wonderful inserts on the market, so we can actually make even prefabs a really tidy job. I mean, these inserts we have here, these are from the new Jim Blurton range. Like I said earlier in the lecture, really good. You can key your impression material into that to give more arch support at the back of the foot. Obviously this one here being a wide, what we need to be a wide bar, you know, to give more frog support, so you can get in the arches as well and pack them out. The other thing with these, with the holes, you know, like I say, you can clean out your frog by squirting with an old syringe, stuff through the holes, you know, keep your anti-back, peroxide, etc. Keep them all nice and fresh, which is something you couldn't do with old bar shoes. Again, with some of these, you know, even like lateral extensions, if we need to make an extreme lateral extension, then we've got the insert for it. We could just weld it on, okay, which is a lot more tidy than like what we used to have to do was get some like 8 or 10 mil round, weld it on, forge it, then grind the hell out of it to make it look respectable. Whereas these, you can literally weld them on, give them a quick linish, you're ready to go. And you can mess around with these as well. I mean, I used to have a show jump I used to shoot, the vet wanted a big side extension on it, so what I'd do is tack weld 2 of these and overlap them, so you get the extension coming out from the toe. You know, it's quite an extreme thing. Obviously, you tack weld the 2 ends, get it hot, flatten it so they're all touching, then weld through the joins, and away you go. What else we got in here? Then we've got the old spider plate. You may have seen these before. Don't know if I've got a shoe for it to fit into, but spider plate. Again, you know, quite a technical shoe, but what it does, it kind of gives you the support of the heart bar, but also helps push the forces of at the back part of the foot into the toe as well. You know, giving you full support. Really good shoe. Used it a lot in the past. What else we got here? Got the old Z bar. Okay, so by using a Z bar, you can unweight 1 heel. Okay, so like we was talking about false quarters earlier, a good way of relieving the pressure off that is by putting one of these in. Again, when we were talking about sheared heels this morning, if we've got a shunted coronary band at one of the heels, we can float that heel and put the weight off that heel through the frog. Okay, it's a really good way of doing it. I mean, you know, the tools we've got nowadays are endless. We've got the old centre bar. So this is very often used for horses with severe cases of navicular. And it's just a case of get the centre bar, weld it in the right position. Obviously you need to make sure that's in line with the navicular bone, so obviously you need to position that hopefully with an X-ray. Obviously you could use your external landmarks, and then we've got these kind of inserts. So we've got wide branch inserts, we've got toe inserts, so you can either weld them into the toe to increase the toe thickness, or you can weld them into the side of the shoe to enhance the thickness of the actual branch. Obviously in collateral ligament injuries and suspensory ligament injuries, obviously we're talking ground reaction force type injuries, you know, we can use them a lot. you know, but there's loads and loads. I mean, there's lots of different companies doing it. The ones I've shown you here, obviously Workman, Ortho Kit. I mean, if you're starting out, you just qualified. There's 2 different Ortho kits with different. You just buy the 2 different Ortho kits. They don't actually cost a lot, and you've got them if you need them. You know, saves carrying loads of different types of shoes around with you. And then obviously we've got the Jim Blurton range. Nice holes in. Okay. Obviously does all kinds of inserts. And again, there's other companies what produce them. I believe Kirkhart produce some. Shoeing Lab, they produce some as well. So as
Screen's covered, another one touching.
So in a nutshell, there's loads and loads of basic modifications we can do to normal machine-made shoe or even basic handmade shoes. Obviously, this links into all the forging skills you've learned. But without those forging skills and that underpinning knowledge of how shoes fit and the anatomy and the function of the foot, you know, you need to know that to be able to fit this. When to put the right thing on the right horse. Okay, so yeah, any questions, pop them in the comments below. But yeah, that's your basic introduction to basic shoe modification.